I want to go all the way back there to good old 37,975 BCE, roughly.
It's the Paleolithic era, boys!
And you know what that means. Grab your stone axe. We're hunting gazelles, lions, some other carnivore that's been lost to history and likes the dark. This is a pretty groovy era, because when cavemen weren't out and about, they would start rebranding the cave and create some of the earliest forms of art. I'm Mellow Boy. I'm very new here, and you're watching Mellow Matter. It's still very much unknown to us why cave art even exists. The exact reason that prehistory humans felt the need to draw a yak on every wall, because it is always a yak. A lot of animals were depicted with arrows piercing their skin, leading some to theorize that the creation of a future kill on a cave wall was some kind of ritual to influence the result of a hunt. The animals would make sense then, but then you've got the handprints. One of the simplest, most personal forms of art, compared to a yak, that just destroys this barrier of time between us and them. They make humans that existed 40, 50,000 years back feel like they were in that cave yesterday. And at the same time, I can't help but look at these and think, surely that was just them saying they were here, either as part of some coming-of-age rite of passage or just leaving a mark to say, I'm here, I exist, this is me. Because I naturally kind of link this to other was here art. You don't need to jump back to the Stone Age to see similar examples of this. Look at the universal S-doodle, becoming the official logo of boredom in schools across the world. Or my personal favorite, and maybe the most famous, the first viral meme, Kilroy was here. You ever met a Kilroy? Neither did any of the men in World War II that drew this fucking thing. I'd seen this little guy before. I knew it was a piece of wartime graffiti. But what I didn't know is that the text itself was supposedly associated with an American senior shipyard inspector named James J. Kilroy. There's a bloody war on, and at the Fall River shipyard in Massachusetts, it's chaos. Liberty ships are being chucked out into the Atlantic as quick as they can build them, and it's inspectors like Kilroy who are doing piecework, getting paid for every rivet checked. That means reaching the end of a section of ship and marking your initials in chalk to say, yep, all inspected, all good, only for some schmuck to replace your initials with his own, therefore stealing your pay. So Kilroy changed that tiny mark in chalk to a proclamation in grease, and he'd mark beams, he'd mark bulkheads, just making it a hassle for any other inspector to steal his work. So jumping ahead, you had sailors entering the bowels of these ships, maybe for the first time, finding the ominous words, Kilroy was here, in some dark corner of the room that no human could get to. Because at the time of marking, all that ship stuff hadn't been added yet. So Kilroy became a legend. He became a myth. This is so fucking exaggerated. Omnipresent being right across the Atlantic. The name itself became this symbol of protection. The fact that Kilroy was on your ship meant it was safe. It was a structurally sound vessel that could withstand anything. So when the Allies landed in Normandy and began moving through Europe, they'd scribble the same text in newly captured areas, implying that the area was under American protection. But it also had this cheeky kind of someone was here before you vibe to it, between platoons. At the same time, us Brits had a little character called Mr. Chad, a long-nosed fella peeking over a wall, who often had text above him like, what? No tea? It's Tuesday, innit? Referencing the rationing and the shortages on just about everything that we had in wartime. So tea, bacon, cheese, sugar, hope, money, a good prime minister. Soldiers have to make light of the situation they find themselves in, so Mr. Chad could be found in British-occupied areas, and in the spirit of the Yanks and the Tommies teaming up...
Wait a minute, I haven't told him yet about the difference in pay. You know, a Tommy only gets $15 a month. You guys are lucky, but don't rub it in. Come on, get going!
The Kilroy text and the Chad character eventually merged, resulting in one of the earliest memes that signified unity, safety, and presence. So imagine for a moment, it's late October, 1944. Here's Private Miller. He's been making his way through France for the last 143 days now. Paris has been liberated, and the Allied forces are pushing east to the German border. Him and his platoon are going to be moving on shortly. But at his current post, before he packs his gear, has a smoke, and joins his men, he decides to draw a Kilroy on a brick wall nearby, just to say his country was here, he was here. It's late October, 2024. Here's Eugene Miller. He's been editing some AI-narrated slop for the last 5 days now. His channel has been monetized, somehow, and his subscriber count is pushing on 5,000. Him and his virtual girlfriend are going to be getting some sleep soon, but before that, he decides to mock up some clickbait title ideas for a new video to maximize engagement. What a gunk. I know if you're a creator, here on YouTube or elsewhere, with the limits of a single thumbnail and a short and snappy title, it can be tricky to get that audience and pull people in. But pulling people in has become the point. I know times are tough. I know we all want to get that YouTube money, me included. If 10,000 of you could just do a bit of this, thank you. But people are letting the success of videos, content, art, fuel the desire to create it. We used to frame and hang the work and then let passers-by do their thing. If no one says job well done, tough shit, get another canvas out, put on some Vivaldi, let's go for round 2. To quote Ziggy, who puts it so much better than me, I'm not going to do an impression, that'll be the end of it. Always remember that the reason you initially started working was that there was something inside yourself that you felt if you could manifest it in some way, you would understand more about yourself and how you coexist with the rest of society. I think it's terribly dangerous for an artist to fulfill other people's expectations. They generally produce their worst work when they do that. Because people ruin art. That's me saying that last part, not David. If you got some cool shit in your head, if you have a concept that you might not even have the skills to create right now, but you can see it, start painting. Make it exist first, make it good later. Sometimes you just gotta leave a Kilroy. But now, creators are so fixated on pushing the engagement and the clicks and the interest and the tags to their maximum potential that you have Eugene Miller titles. You were meant to find this video. You'll see this right before the change. Most will ignore this.
But not you.
We're actually using causality against viewers now, using the concept of destiny to get you to click on videos. I'm not an inherently religious or spiritual kind of guy, but the older I get, the term everything happens for a reason is kind of sticking with me, even when the worst possible thing happens to me and I'm at such a low point and I think I have to be on the worst timeline here. A year will pass by and I'll think, oh, that was such a necessary pain because it opened that door for me. The more that fate is used as clickbait though, as an actual view strategy, the more those doors get slammed in my face. Because clearly destiny would rather take the form of an AI-narrated YouTube video telling me what I'm doing wrong with my life instead of throwing actual life lessons at me in the here and now. I didn't even register any of these titles to begin with, but I've seen more and more of them recently and it's a greasy tactic. But tactics for a lot of creators are needed, which is just depressing because they shouldn't be. This is a platform of art, and it's a platform that fascinates me, because while I'm old enough to remember the birth and death of some social medias, I'm young enough to say I don't remember a time without YouTube. It's because of that this whole place feels to me like a bit of was here art. Some massive cave wall that millions have carved their thoughts onto. It's this library of human knowledge and language, from intelligent to completely absurd. That is the way it is, because creators have gone through the equivalent of crossing Mordor in writing, recording, editing, uploading a video. You gotta fight off all the copyright strikes and ultimately fail, subscribe to your royalty-free stock sites, follow this nice, safe path that the algorithm wants you on. It's a hero's journey to get a solid, clean video in some genres on this platform, let alone reap the rewards of monetization. It's gotta be done, because after all these years of YouTube creators comforting me when I needed it, giving me a laugh when I needed it, I suddenly want to join them. I never had the teenage arc of making a cringy YouTube channel. So now at big 24, I'm gonna give it a go. And if this gets lost, then so be it. But if anyone is watching this now, hey, you're seeing my first handprint of hopefully many more. I tend to hyperfixate on things, so shit, we'll see. I want to use this channel to ultimately ramble about God knows what. Deep thoughts, anxieties, memory, theories, history, a lot of complaints, as you can tell. I'd love to make my mark in some very small way and hopefully make a concise point every video. I probably haven't done that here, but I am here. I exist. This is me. Thanks for watching.